And for the national anthem. And don't forget that the school field trip is on Friday.
I hope it's French toast sticks. I hope French toast sticks.
And
Those were
cinnamon
the best.
buns?
Yeah.
Ooh.
School pizza was awful.
Kids don't know how lucky they have it.
French
Anyways,
toast sticks.
who are we talking to here? Welcome to our little show today, talking about ourselves a little bit. All right, we're going to talk about financial advisors. And then I'm going to give you, seriously, the one single biggest secret that financial advisors will never tell you. Well, they'll never tell you. They'll tell some people, but I'll tell you what that is.
Yeah, there's the thing in the rooms of all financial advisors. It's any industry. You get an industry and you're in a room and it's working for the fire department. You had that lingo and the stuff to talk about with the fire guys or the fire gals. Same, I see it with the police officers. And then it's no different. Financial industry. You hang out with those people and let me tell you about this guy that I got one over on. That's the kind of lingo. Or not lingo, but it's like that stuff. It's like oh gosh, but it's always coined. It's like let me tell you what I did to help this person. And it's like that was what we used to get trained on when I started in the insurance finance. It was awful stuff. Gosh.
We used to do in our old warehouse. We did a meetup. And I published it online on meetup for advisors and stuff. Come see how to make videos and do all this. At one point, we had 50 or 60 people, advisors and maybe some insurance people, sitting in the room, and we would do these videos, and I would show them how to do it all. And I just had to stop because the conversation afterwards was just dude, how do you find these people with all this money and blah blah? I'm like, no. I'm not feeling your vibe there, man. That's a little different thing. But today we're going to talk about what should you have a financial advisor? Ooh, you got to laugh, huh? What?
No. It's these people. I'm not into that. So,
nah, they just
good talking with you, man.
It did get annoying, and so I was like, all right, well, it helped that COVID hit, so I got to use that as an excuse. But what do you think? Should people hire an advisor or not? Why would you give them that 1% or whatever? We're cheaper. We're cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one because I think there's so many people that are out there that are doing it, the DIY, and we get a lot of that. It's we're getting to retirement years now. Now we want somebody to help us.
I like the DIY investor. By the way, I seem to get along with them well because a lot of times people will say, "Here's my long-term stuff, Dustin, but hey, I'm gonna go trade and do a little bit of this. What do you think of this stock or whatever?" Yep. That keeps my brain fresh. I like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like it. But yeah, as bad as it is, I think it all comes down to who the advisor is. But I know you've got a couple things, some talking points. You got a couple things here. I'll you kind of jump in.
I get to go first?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's tell me the lunch menu. Let's hear it.
Oh man, no, lunch menu. That's pretty much all you get. The chocolate milk in the box. So the biggest thing I think is, if you want to use a financial advisor, is you want to really see what they offer. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Right? Ask them, what will you do for me? The retirement planning side of things is kind of, whatever. That's a part of it, but there has to be more to it. That person should be bringing ideas. That person should have, and it, not just investing or retirement, it should be personal finance ideas. You should be able to ask them questions like, I'm going to buy a house, but I have an existing house that's almost paid off. Should I pay off the house or should I put the money down on the new house? You should be able to do those kind of questions there. So the advisor should be bringing ideas. And by the way, had the greatest idea last night.
Greatest idea.
Greatest idea ever. We're going to do it. It's happening.
Okay.
So what if your advisor, think about this. This is out of the box, totally out of the blue. What if your advisor set up another business and just call it a family office or something? And the advisor said, hey, how you can buy a house and you could buy a fractional piece of the house, a cabin in the woods, right? And it's 1/10 of what it would cost you. You split the maintenance, you split all that stuff. You otherwise could not afford this cabin in the woods, but because it's only you and 10 other people or whatever, you can.
Okay.
Swap that out with a CPA.
Yeah.
What if your advisor was like, hey, we have this other thing here. We don't need to make money off of it, but we'll get a CPA, have them sit here, and they will have no more than 10 clients, right? Or 20, whatever. I don't know how many clients CPAs have, but less than the norm. So that way, you're covering part of their costs, which means you get to bug the crap out of them, right? If you want a strategy, a plan, tax filing, and all that. Right?
the jerk got me.
Come on. Right?
Yeah, no. I that's always been a challenge for us. Is
yeah.
finding the good CPA for
They're busy.
for clients. Yeah, they're busy, and there's always the
The little boogers that never call you back. They got a million people. I get it. They have like 400 or 500 clients. They got to file all these taxes. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you go in there and they're like, "Just give me your stuff. I'll file it." Well, anybody could do that. I'm talking strategy, man.
Yeah.
Have a guy have your back, or a girl, or I don't care. Right? Like, how awesome would that be?
No, I agree. It's I try to tell people, with the Roth conversions, hey, get with them, or conversion, or not even conversions, but income. What is your income at right this second? Because the Roth thing, coming up at the end of the year, so many people are over the Roth income limit, and then it messes everything up. So having the CPA that can say in November, let's take a look. Oh no, you're probably going to be over. Okay, well then now we can work on this.
And what if it's like, your CPA is this person. They're in the room over there. I'll just go ask them. So next time we have a call, I'll be able to say, hey, we talked about it. Here's the strategy. Here's what you do. And by the way, have a little less withholding and all this stuff. Like, why does nobody do that?
Yeah.
Because you could hire a CPA and have them sit there, but then we would just have them bombarded with work. So we're saying it's like a fractional share CPA. It's guaranteed that they won't have any more than 20 clients.
Yeah. It's an option. And then with the planning too, like you say, it's thinking outside the box planning. I've heard so many people going with the advisor, and then they're saying, well, I went with the advisor and I got a plan. But then we come to find out, like, the plan is just like, oh yeah, you're good, you can retire. Like, that's
I hate that answer.
It's like, well, let's really fast forward. Let's look at everything. Let's look at, our Roth conversions. Do they make sense? I know it's a hot button or a hot topic, but it's like, do they even make sense for this scenario? Just what you're kind of saying. Really hitting on all of the goals. There's a lot more to planning than just, I can retire. I know, a lot of people get that and then, work with us and have said things like that. Like, wow, I had the plan, but this is really what I was looking for. So I always like to hear that. That makes me feel good when I hear that.
Yeah. So that's that. Obviously, there should be more to it, right? This whole like automated computer thing, and your plan is fine, right?
Right.
That's a silly idea. And my idea is have ideas. Your advisor should have ideas. We do the Wine and Wealth class, so every week it's like, here's an idea. It may not fit you, but we're coming at it. Right? We're working for it.
Yep.
So who is that person? If it's the person around the corner, if it's whatever, that's fine. But ideas.
Ideas.
Yes.
There you go.
Is that it? Is that all you got?
No, what you got? I thought you were
Me?
I thought you were throwing more. I thought you had a whole shebang out there. A lot of it I was going to give input and make sure I didn't duplicate here.
The biggest secret, really, that financial advisors will never tell you, and it pisses me off. I'm gonna hit you with it.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna hit you with it. You ready? Mm-hmm. If you can't handle it, it's okay. If you don't have enough money to work with an advisor, you should be working with a freaking advisor, right? The biggest account that I ever turned down was a guy who, I can't remember how he got the money. He sold a grocery store or something. I can't remember, but it was a big chunk of money. And the guy came to me, he's like, I want to work with an advisor. And after talking to him, I'm like, dude, you're already there. Like, you have the money. It's great. And he's like, I just like what you do and want to work with you. And he wanted to know how to like give, what was the most efficient way to give to a charity. He wanted to give like $100,000. And I was like, you get this already. Like, take your smallest cost basis positions, just donate them directly to charity. You don't need that help. That's my background, is coming from these people that have a lot of money, working out plans and stuff for them, because they just don't have the time. It's not because they can't or don't have that strategy available. They just don't have the time and they want to pay somebody. But if you're like 45, 40 years old or something, and you're like, man, my 401k's got like $50,000 in, I don't know, let's get money, but I haven't thought about this plan. You need the help, right? Yep. You're the one that should be getting the advice to go, whoa, you may not make it to retirement, but let's strategize. Let's figure it out. You don't know the strategies. You don't have the time or probably have any experience doing it. But advisors won't tell you that you're the ideal client because they make no money.
Correct.
There's nothing there for them. Yeah. Not that it's a bad thing, I get it, it's competitive and all, but if you think you don't need an advisor because you can't afford them, you don't have enough money or whatever, you're the person that needs the advisor. It's simple as that. And that's not a sales pitch. By all means, go use any advisor you want, but you got to really push to get in the door, and that's sad.
Well, and what I've found is the people that are kind of late starters, getting going, different things. Not all. A lot of them are amazing people. We've got quite a few. We've been helping through things. They'll come in and they'll basically kind of almost like tell me what to do. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, hold on a second there, because you can't come in and tell the advisor what to do with your money when the problem is you haven't done what's right all along. So those are the ones where it's like that mindset shift.
Yep.
And that's where, if you're going to do that and you think, well, I already know what I'm doing and it's not been working all this time, first of all, that's a mistake. But second of all, then unfortunately it's not worth you hiring an advisor, because if you're not going to listen to the advice, then what's the advisor for?
Is somebody not listening to you?
Well, that's kind of the concept of it. I see this. I've talked to some people, and I'm like, hey, let me advise you on this. And they're like, well, no, here's what I'm going to do.
Totally. I have a client, and she's watching. I guarantee you, she's watching. Who got out of the market when I said, no, don't. You can't. Your plan, it doesn't fit. You can't make that happen.
Yeah.
Got out of the market. Calls me the other day and said, you are. Calls me the other day and says, when should I get back in? I'm like, no, God, no. I'm not helping you with that part of it. I wouldn't have got out in the first place. Now the market's higher. What do you want? Like, of course you should have got in, you should have never got out. The listening to the advice, it almost feels like if we have a solid plan and can back it up by numbers, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's not because I woke up and on the wrong side of the bed, had a fight with my wife, and I was like, just get out of the market. It's got to be backed up by numbers. But if you're not going to follow that advice, then we genuinely feel like, okay, well, you should just go on, go do your thing, right? It's not helpful. You're making my job harder, which is fine. But I'll wrap it up with saying that the best thing you can do to an advisor for yourself, not for them, they're going to be pissed, right? But the best thing you can do to yourself is say, I'm a person who, I'm not quite there. I don't know how I'm going to get there. Maybe I bought a lot of stuff when I was in my 20s. I've got credit card debt, all this extra stuff. But you need to get there. Telling that advisor, right, this is going to suck, but how do I make this work? And what are the challenging questions that you can ask? Got to get in there and do that there. I love it.
No, and I think the biggest thing is if you're looking for an advisor, you got to find the fiduciary, though. I mean,
sure.
That's, you've got to really know the right questions to ask, the right people to look for. If you want a video like that, let us know, because that's something we can do too in the comments. But that's the big thing is that. And for the love of the land, you got to say, people investing like, I'm just going to put it all in VU. You hear that all the time. And there's nothing wrong with just putting the money away. It's more of making sure you know how much you need to be putting away.
Yeah, I could add to that, because you have people that buy one ETF and because that's what the media says, you should do that.
Yeah.
Then it comes time to a year like now, and they hear me on the Wine and Wealth classes going, tax loss harvesting, let's get in there. Let's make some money. Let's get some losses on paper without actually losing money.
Yeah.
But come to find out, you just had this one ETF. There's no advantage. You can't do anything. You have to sit there and suck it up. I hate that. I mean, that's the worst answer to give to somebody, but you have to be wildly diverse, not for risk. Risk is what they sell on TV, but you have to be diverse because the opportunities come in years like this. It's just killer how you can rack up losses on paper, carry them forward, and save taxes, man. It's great.
Yeah, you've got that, and then you've got the idea, too, that just the advisors that just want to buy you 4 funds. Roth IRA, traditional IRA, maybe that works in that, but just what you're saying, tax loss harvesting on an individual account. Some people may look at our account and say, hey, it's overkill. You have all these individual stocks. We're just doing what the mutual fund company's doing. We're just passing the benefit to you
getting
versus
rid of the fee.
The mutual fund company getting to realize those gains. So,
and you want to pick on somebody. You know what the trick to that is. Why do you have hey, Edward Jones or American Funds is a real culprit of this.
Dropping names.
No, I'm doing it, man. So why is it that every time we look at a statement from American Funds, we go to transfer the account and it's like, oh, you have 3 funds. Your account's a little bigger, you have 4 funds. Your account's a little bigger, you have 5 funds. Why is that? You know the secret? It's because when you put in, for example, I don't know if this is their break point, but when you have the first $25,000 in there, they make the most amount of money by putting you in one fund. As soon as you go over that, their break point goes down, meaning the amount that they make.
Yeah.
So they put you in 2 funds. That way they make the same amount, but now you have 2 funds. And
different fund families.
Different fund families, yeah. And so then they tell you oh, we need to be more diverse. They need to be more diverse because their fee just went down because your balance went over $25,000. So the more money you have, the more funds you get because they want to keep their fee as high as possible.
Yep.
That kills me. It's sneaky, and maybe in a different life that's something that used to work, but not for me.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right. Is that all you got?
Are you kidding?
All right. Well, I think with that, I'll say, it's the like, subscribe, time to get to work, baby.
No, man. It's financial advice good to the last drop.
Oh, financial advice good to the last drop. Okay, we're sticking with that one. Is that what we stick with?
Do it again. That was the best
Hold
one.
on, man. There was one little drip. Man.
Lick it up.
All right. Lick it up.
Leave coffee
we should
on
make
mine.
a bet on that. Lick coffee off the table.
I'll lick it. Shoot,
something.
$10.
All right. Financial advice to the last drop.
Okay, there
it
you go.
is.